Hey, welcome back to It's a Long Way Through. Hey, today I'm going to go over some more memories from the 70s, and one in particular, the blizzard of 78. So most everybody's heard of that blizzard. 1978, I think it was February 6th and 7th. Don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But I believe it was February 6th and 7th, 1978. New England got hit huge. Matter of fact, it was so big down in Massachusetts that there were cars abandoned on the highway for days. People were cross-country skiing on highways. I mean, everything got shut down. It was a long time. I think it was days, if not weeks, of getting back to normal. Huge amounts of snow, 30 plus inches of snow in some cases, if not more. Now, up in New Hampshire, growing up, in the little town that we lived in, it wasn't quite as bad, but it was significant snowfall. If I remember, it had to have been at least a couple feet, 20 inches maybe of snow, somewhere in there. And I loved the snow growing up. It was huge. I remember putting on the one-piece snowsuits with my hat and my mittens, and the mittens they would be attached. So you'd run the mitten down through the sleeve of the jackets, and they would be attached so you wouldn't lose them if you took your mittens off, because Mom was always worried about you losing your mittens. But any chance growing up, we would play in the snow. We would build snow forts, and we had these plastic things that if it wasn't coffee cans, it was something else. I can't even remember the details now, but we'd mold the snow into a brick, if you would, and build snow forts. And sometimes we would just take snowbanks from Dad plowing, and we would dig out into the snowbank and build a cave in there. Speaking of Dad plowing, he had a Scout International. They don't make Scout anymore, I don't believe. Although maybe I had heard a couple years ago they were trying to bring it back. But it was at that time, I believe it was General Motors that was making the brand Scout. It was a two-door SUV type thing, real heavy, small, short wheelbase. This particular one was green, like a John Deere green with a white cap, I think, two-tone. And he had a small plow hooked up on it, and I'll never forget, he had the orange light, the flashing light on the top. Matter of fact, during that particular storm, growing up in such a small town, I remember going out onto the road that we lived on, and Dad helped plow that road, and he had his little light on. I thought we were pretty cool people back then doing that. But everybody was helping keeping the roads clean and snow free because it was such a bad storm. But back to the sledding. So, in spending time out in the snow. So, it was snow forts and snowball fights, and it was always sledding. Now, sledding was pretty cool. There were three types of sleds back then. There's what I would call a snow saucer. And I'll put a picture up of the snow saucer. But they were either like a plastic or an aluminum saucer with handles, two handles on it. And let me tell you, mister, especially on that aluminum one, you would fly down the hill and sometimes start losing control and hopefully not wipe out till you got down to the bottom of the hill. But that was that was snow saucer. We had one of those for sure, if not a couple of them. And the other one was a flexible flyer. They called it the flexible flyer. And I don't know if they still make them, but it was steel rails and wooden slats, if you would, and you could sit on it and you could control your steering, a little bit of the steering with your feet, or if you were laying down on your stomach, you could control it with your hands. And that was the other one growing up that we had. We had at least a couple of those. Then later on, and I think it must have been about 78, 79, somewhere in there, they came up, this was the coolest thing. They came out with these they called them roll-up sleds. And basically all it was like a doormat size, big doormat, maybe 30 inches by 48 inches, something along those lines, a piece of 1/8 inch plastic, heavy duty plastic, and all kinds of different colors. You get it in red, blue, green, if I remember, those were the particular ones, with little handles cut out. And the nice thing about those is you could roll them up and take them to school easily on the bus, because you bringing your big sled, like one of those flexible flyers or the snow saucers on the bus, I think that got outlawed eventually, even back then. And if you did want to have a sled there, mom or dad would have to take you to school and drop you off with the sled and then pick you back up. But the nice thing about those roll-up sleds, you could roll them up and carry them really easily, and everybody at school had those. I remember at recess getting out, and we had we had two main fields at the elementary school, and we had the upper field and the lower field. And to get down the lower field, you had a massive hill incline. As a matter of fact, we learned how to cross-country ski on that. We would sled on it. All winter long, when you look at the bank, there'd be trails like an otter going down a bank from the sleds. But yeah, great memories. Frosty cheeks. I never got cold back then. As a matter of fact, I was hot more than anything. But yeah, this winter has been a pretty heavy winter up here this winter, and it just reminds me of all the fun in the snow. To this day, I like to get out and do some cross-country skiing, and I've told myself I'm going to I have an old plastic sled, take that out just for a run. I haven't done it yet, but I definitely need to do it. But at any rate, I wanted to share that memory and growing up in the different sleds. I'll post some images of those sleds in this video, and if you want to share any of your stories or leave any comments, please do. I'll try to get back to you. But as always, thank you for taking the time to watch my video and let me share my growing up, some of my thoughts and memories and stuff like that. We'll see you next time. Take care.